What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And Bitcoin is getting a continued drop to the downside here. Should you be worried? Is this the final drop down to much lower prices, maybe targeting 51 to 52K? Well, I'm going to break it all down in today's market update. You will know that Market Cypher was shooting those warning shots off with that 12-hour red dot that we were looking at, and 60K was one of those potential scenarios we expected to play out. And here we are sitting at that key level. So in today's video, guys, I want to give you a general market update, let you know what I'm expecting here on price next, as well as give you guys the key levels of resistance to the upside, support to the downside, and I want to talk about what we need to see in order for Bitcoin to get a bounce out of this danger zone. So without further ado, Mafia, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and as you know, as Bitcoin has gotten a drop out of our volume profile, essentially what we have been looking at this point was a bounce or a retracement up into some very key levels of resistance, which were sitting here on that value area low between about 63,000 and 63,500. And simply put, guys, the reason this was our key level of resistance is because once you break out of these ranges and you get a retracement, the value area low of the range you broke down out of becomes key resistance, not only because it's going to give you a strong fight and a potential rejection to the downside, but also this is your key level that you must break and hold above in order to get that bigger move to the upside, normally targeting that point of control of the range, which is sitting here at about 67K. Now that we have seen that retracement that we were looking for, the ideal situation for Bitcoin would have been to get above that value area low, obviously, hold it as support, and then get that bigger move to the upside. However, we have gotten a pretty significant rejection here, but in my opinion, it's not quite over for Bitcoin yet. However, this is not necessarily what we wanted to see, but as you guys know, last night on the live stream, we were looking at some things on the chart, being that 12-hour red dot that was printing right here. That was one of the things last night that I was looking at that was saying, hey, this may open up the door to 60K, guys. Now, why was I looking at 60K? Very simply put, we were pulling our volume profile here and our value area low of this local range, which is kind of the range that I have been day playing while we're waiting for the bigger move to happen. We had that value area low sitting just at about $60,000, and as we were deviating above this value area high, we did wind up putting in some bearish confirmations here. One of those signals was an SFP of the highs here as we were retracing into a golden pocket retracement level, and we also had some lower time bearish divergences with our higher highs on price action, lower highs on our momentum waves with our money flow coming out, and we did take that short position from the high here in the premium Discord, and the final target for that trade was simply targeting the value area low of the range. And this is how we trade every single day, as we long the deviations below the value area low in anticipation of going back up to the high of that range, and then we wait for the deviation above the range, look for those short setups with the anticipation of coming back to the PLC and eventually back down to the value area low. So we've taken profits on that trade, but the real question here, guys, is are we going to get a big bounce to the upside, or are we going to get the bigger breakdown, potentially targeting much lower prices, where you guys all know that next key level of support is not coming in really until we get down to that 51 to 52K level. Now, I would not want to see this just as badly as everybody else doesn't want to see it, but we have to look at the charts, take the information we're given, and just trade the charts and not worry about those emotions or what we want price to do. We have to base all of our decisions on actual data. And if you guys watch the channel in any capacity, you will know we've been watching these higher time frames with money flow coming out on the 2-day, on the 3-day. You can see the 2-day not only got a money flow crossover, but we're also getting another fresh red dot here on the 2-day, which could potentially continue the push to the downside. So to be quite honest with you guys, those higher time frames are still not out of the woods, which could keep that door open down to 51 to 52K, or at least down to our current lows, sitting at about 56.5. And as you guys know, this is definitely going to be the danger zone, because if we pull up our VPVR, you guys know we have a giant volume gap below these lows, which would likely cause a fast drop down for Bitcoin if we get stuck under those lows. Going to be likely to give us a very quick move down to that 51 to 52K zone. And this is why I say Bitcoin is definitely in the danger zone. So we are starting to see those high time frames continue to the downside. However, we do have a couple of levels underneath us that we absolutely must hold. Well, number one, I would say it would be really nice to get a bounce off of this value area low here. On yesterday's live stream, we were actually looking at this as a potential long zone, as we also had right on that value area low, we had the golden pocket retracement level coming in perfect confluence with that level. Now, obviously, we did not get get that giant bounce that we were hoping for. However, we scooted down to that 786, front ran the 786, and we could potentially still bounce from this zone, guys. So key zone number 1 is the same levels that we gave on the live stream last night. This is why you want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you have notifications set so you know when I go live, so you have all these key levels on your chart before price gets the move. But this zone is between about 60,366 and 59,373. And if we do not bounce here, guys, we are very likely going to get the bigger move down to our actual lows here coming in at 56.4. And again, that is going to be the danger zone. If we don't bounce off that level, we are very likely going to get a big drop down to 51 to 52K. So we really want to hold this Fibonacci retracement zone. And we also have one more level that we can look at before we enter that super dangerous level down here. And that is going to be this tapped daily level coming in at 58,232. And if we are, this is another thing we looked at on the live stream last night, if we do come down there and we do close some candles below this candle from the 24th of June, we could potentially put in some higher time frame bullish divergences. And more specifically, we were looking at that 12-hour time frame saying, hey, if we do get that red dot, which we wound up getting, and that big drop to the downside, we even got the blood diamond to accompany us here. And this is oftentimes what you see before that big drop. However, if we do get that drop down to this daily, we could potentially put our lower low in on price action. And the way that these momentum waves are set up right now could potentially set us up for a bullish divergence, which would be a higher time frame bull div, which could signal the bigger move to the upside. So this is going to be what I'm looking at. Again, we showed this on the live stream last night, but simply put, last night we were looking for the red dot on the 12-hour to give us a move down, and if we got that move down, we could look for that longer-term setup, and here we are today, about halfway through that move, and are we going to see that setup present itself? We don't know, but if we do, guys, this could be our last chance to get the big bounce, get back inside of that value area low of the larger range, and then finally get a recovery here on Bitcoin. But if we do not start shaping up, if those higher time frames don't start flipping around soon, we could definitely be in danger, because once you lose this key level, there's really nothing holding you up, because once you lose these lows, very likely to get that bigger drop down to about 51 to 52K. So for me personally, guys, I am going to look at these medium hourly time frames, such as the 3 and 4 hour. You can see we're getting a 3-hour green dot right now. 4-hour green dot is looking to print as well. We don't have any beautiful divergences or anything, but I'm going to see if these can give us a bounce. I will just be paying attention to this local range down below the macro value area, and I will just be day playing this for my scalp trades. However, if we want that bigger move up, we really want to not break any of these levels. And if we do, we just want to see those bullish signals set up and give us that big move to the upside, because nobody wants to see Bitcoin go to 51 to 52K. So with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's market update. Hopefully this helps you guys get a little clarity on what I'm looking at in the market. And again, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications set, because if you were tuned into last night's live stream, you would have these levels on your chart, and you also would have been expecting this drop down based off that 12-hour red dot. So shout out to the CandleMafia. And with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out. Here we go. At the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah.